you've been about 40 years in the ministry, and before that you were a physician on the threshold of a very successful career. Now, what made you change course?
Well, of course, that's a question one can't answer in a few words.
What do you believe would make a successful preacher? Had you those qualities? Did you feel in yourself that you had the qualities that would make a successful preacher?
I really was never concerned about that. All I'm prepared to agree with is this, that man today is behaving like an animal. But the question is, why?
Now, what do you think is the attraction for these young people in your preaching?
Well, I would say that what appeals to them is the note of authority. It is not the business of the preacher to deal with political and social issues in the pulpit. He is to preach to men and women, lay people, who are to go out into the world to do this.
But one is concerned that by this kind of division that you are making, that you are really dividing the sheep and the goats, as it were, and that you are cutting out from your ecumenism at least half the Christian church.
Well, yes, of course, but you see, the Bible talks a great deal about this, about the remnant. And Martyn Luther at one point stood absolutely alone. You don't decide these matters in terms of figures. It's a question of your view of the truth. And I believe that the people outside are utterly confused when they see on the television or hear on the radio men both claiming to be Christians and standing for the same thing, but violently and totally disagreeing from one another with regard to the very content of the gospel. If I want to influence political and social conditions, my best plan of doing so is to produce Christian people in large numbers, and then the politicians will pay attention. They don't listen to what the preachers say about political and social issues.
We have tended in the past to describe the continent of Africa as the dark continent. That is how we describe people who live in ignorance and in paganism, the dark continent. Yes, but you know, the first General Booth was equally right when he wrote his famous book, In Darkest England.